Yeah.
Okay. I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Okay, 1 second. No further discussion, roll call vote. Lowberg,
Aye.
Stone,
Aye.
maybe aye. The public hearing will be open for the purpose. Proposed 25-26 proposed tax levy public hearing. What are you here for the hearing? Come on in.
I know, they said nothing changed, right?
Nope.
No.
Then I won't have to hear, okay?
Are you sure?
So, now there's five people.
Okay. We'll take comments from the public. That's what we're here for, so.
What, it says the explanation on the bottom why these taxes are going up. It's for wages, and building maintenance, correct? That's what it says on the bottom line that I got in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, my understanding that did we not pass, there was a pay freeze in this county?
We did not pass a pay freeze, no.
Hiring freeze.
We tried to pass a hiring freeze, which was pretty well shot down by our attorney, but
Cause we can't freeze other elected officials' offices. The only ones that we can actually freeze would be ones that would have somewhat responsibility with secondary roads. Cause conservation has their own board, public health has their own board. Most every other office, assessor has their own board, every other office is an elected official.
We could freeze IT.
Yeah, IT and, which is one
IT and
person,
secondary roads.
and secondary roads, the only thing we have.
And that didn't pass then, but I'm assuming, are they gonna get a cost of living increase this year then?
as of right now, anyway, we haven't, nothing's been approved or finalized as of yet.
Recommendations 3%.
That's what I figured, which is supposed to then, that's what the compensation board takes into account, what their relation, what the increase is to them and same employees in other counties in the state, correct?
Yeah, that, the what is it, COLA?
COLA was 2.5,
Yeah.
cost of living allowance from the federal government.
Yeah.
But yeah, they take into account other counties and other people in the whole state as far as which department you're in.
So is that why we're asking for the increase now, to cover the cost of living increase for wages and compensation then?
That's
Basically,
the only
yes.
thing that's really going up, yeah. Is,
Then the building maintenance part of it, what's going on with that? Because from what I understood, they want to close the courthouse down anyways and build something new behind it with all the offices in it. Is that true?
there's been that discussion, yeah, yeah. That we're not gonna build a new courthouse per se, but administration building,
If we did.
possibly.
Yeah.
Right now, we're working on conservation and secondary roads facilities in Northwood now. To get a new office, joint office for those two, and then, remodel the building we bought from Kennison Construction.
For conservation.
For conservation, and then possibly a new building for secondary roads, that hasn't been decided yet, but. The new shop anyways, but most likely the office will go for sure, and secondary roads or conservation should be starting this month.
Yeah.
Those bids have all been approved, so. So we're trying to keep up with the times on the buildings, they're way behind.
So then this increase you're asking for building maintenance, is that to maintain this building or that's gonna be for the new building that you want to build to put all the offices?
This is just for general maintenance right now and what we've done here. And a lot of times in the past, we've always took that out. We've been trying to keep that back in case we do have some issues here that we can deal with. We've had some roof issues. Got a boiler in there that's, I don't know, how old is it? 1960s.
Well, it's from the 60s.
You know, if that went out, I don't know what we'd do. We'd have to figure something out.
Mhm.
So we're trying to maintain something in the budget for maintenance.
We didn't in the past have an
But-
opportunity to do it, but we did now, so we put something back in there.
More than
Before we
likely,
get caught.
yeah, more than likely, if we need to build a new build, if we were to build an office complex or whatever you wanna call it, it'd probably be using the TIF dollars, it wouldn't be using taxpayer property tax dollars.
And then I was under the standing, they said that it was gonna be for offices, but you wanna keep the courthouse for the courtroom, because the regulations on building a new courtroom are so stringent. It'd be outrageous for the cost of a new courtroom.
And they're probably
60% of the
regionalized
cost.
down the road anyway.
Almost 60%
Almost
of the
50%
building.
of the cost of the building would be the court systems.
And the state gives us $100,000 for office furniture. Otherwise, the county pays for the rest.
So then we'd still have to maintain this building, even if we built a new building with the offices in it, then correct?
With the offices, yes, we'd still have to maintain this as courtrooms.
So then it really ain't saving a heck of a lot besides having the cost of a new building.
Best thing could happen if they consolidate the courts.
And that discussion of consolidating magistrate has already been discussed down in Des Moines, or they're discussing it now.
Honestly, that would be the smartest thing.
For a small county,
For us,
Every
it
county
would,
having to maintain a courtroom.
yes, for a small county like us, absolutely. And
They
we
can't-
honestly, in the 5-year plan, it wouldn't surprise us if that's happens between now and then.
they can't regionalize it fast enough as far as I'm concerned.
Cause there would be cost savings countywide to that, if we didn't have to operate and maintain a court
system.
facility like that,
I mean,
and not get any money back for it.
You'd still pay, there'd be fees for court system, we'd still pay in it, but it should be way less than maintaining the building and
Yeah. Yep,
everything else. Yeah,
There be any way we could get any casino money to help maintenance on especially that
Not-
building?
not on
not
maintenance,
in general operating like that.
they won't give money for operational costs.
Or wages.
Or wages, but if we built a new facility, we could apply for it, right? Just like anybody else could. And maybe get some assistance building a new building or a portion or whatever it may be, so. But yeah, as far as operations or wages, they do not pay for that, because if the casino closes tomorrow, then that means everything they were paying for is going to disappear.
My opinion, the majority of the taxes come from the farmer because of the property tax. And I don't speak for myself, I speak for those that are younger than me that are trying to make it farming. Cause us older guys, we can pay a few extra dollars in tax, but you know, there's a lot of operations that are running in the red right now. And they're asked to dig deeper and pay more taxes. It seems like it's just a poor time to. They have to do that. They're asked to, by their lenders and whatever, to do without or to do with a little. And now they're hit with more taxes on top of it, and it just seems like a poor timing.
This, it's all guided by, all of our numbers are guided by the state. And they're making some serious changes right now too. So the levy that we levied for last year. With the state rules, we had, the year before, we had too much growth, so we had to reduce our levy. So we went from 4.25 to 4.12. Yep, we lowered our levy.
So this,
State guide, they made us.
Yep.
All right.
there was
This
a
year,
formula they used.
yep, this year we had 1.46% growth. So basically, we were about flat. We didn't change our levy. Our levy still is 4.12, and then, we didn't change the rural either, right? Still 2.05.
Whatever it is, 2
What's that?
Rural.
The supplement or the
Yeah,
rule?
yeah, supplement, I mean.
Supplement's 2.05.
2.05, I think, yeah. Anyway, so as far as that goes, we haven't made changes on the levy. It's the valuations that are making the changes, and then the rollback we get from the state. Which, that rollback, there's legislation there out right now that's gonna take that entire rollback away. And so what's gonna happen is your valuations now, because the state says we must be between 95% and 105% of that, like, full-blown value. So if you sell your house tomorrow for $100,000, your assessment's gonna be between 95 and 105. State says we have to do that.
Right now, it was like about 46,000 for paying tax on that. It's going to what its value is, but then the levy's gonna go down.
Yep.
Does that go for ag land then too?
Ag land is still done from the state, the department down there,
Yeah,
and they pretty much control that off. Corn aeration and some other stuff, and they set that, but
it's
yeah,
more revenue based.
yep.
So when We've got control of a few numbers here, but most of it's all guided by the state telling us what we have to do. We're kind of puppets up here. It stinks because we have to deal with the local people. The people in Des Moines don't. We just gotta follow the rules.
But the way property tax has been done in the past is all changing. Next year,
Yeah, so Agland's done, it's a career, 5 year.
It's a 5-year productivity.
How much?
what's that?
5-year.
5 year
productivity.
productivity, thank you. So generally, I would assume it's been on a decline. We should start to see some things on there. At least I'm on a decline, I know that.
And we were told in a meeting, January, statewide supervisor
Yes.
meeting, that they're looking at a 10% reduction in ag land next year. Which not the one we're doing right now.
You're always a year behind.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, it'd be
year.
the following year, there's already been discussions of a 10% reduction. In ag land. There's values or however, not
Probably not values,
Or
but,
whatever their tax, the tax rate, I guess, whatever.
right.
Yeah, there's already been that discussion, that was back in January, so. This letter is confusing to everybody, cause. And if you look at it, in Saragordo County, and I believe it's either Mitchell or Winnebago, I saw it, they're almost identical. As far as percentage of changes, anything like that, everything is almost identical, no matter what county you're in. And so it's, basically, that's the state telling us what we gotta put out now.
We were double this increase last year, because I found my piece of paper exactly the same as what I got last year. I think it was like 2.6 or 2.7 was what the increase was last year over previous. When we sat in the same room and discussed the same thing. And this year I think it's 1 or 1.3 or 1.5% or something like that.
Yeah, cause the state's goal with their new tax system rolling out that they wanna do, is 2% growth. So, they're only gonna allow you 2% growth every year. They're capping it.
They're capping.
Aren't they cutting the amount of dollars that they're sending out to areas too, the state money that's coming out? Are they cutting that?
The backfills
Mhm.
that they're cutting them down, they've been wanting to eliminate them for years.
Yeah.
And then we wanna get rid of our income tax, we have no income coming in. But we're gonna pay the tax regardless, because if you guys ain't getting the income from the state.
Right.
That means all local taxes are gonna go up, so still, we're gonna pay the same amount of tax, we're just writing the check to a different person.
I'd agree with you, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Pretty well sums it up.
Yep.
I don't know why it's so hard for people to figure this out.
I know.
think people, the smoke and mirrors tactics they use, that our taxes are gonna go away, no, they're not gonna go away, they're just gonna go to a different place.
Exactly.
Just makes somebody look better than the other.
Yep.
I have, Colleen online.
Good.
When
Colleen,
try to get her.
Hello, I'm not happy about this tax increase. 12% is gonna raise my taxes over $650. You're taking half of my income right now, and not all of us old farmers are well set. So, we're breaking even this year. And I don't care about your proportions and your backfills and everything. The reality is, I used to pay $4,000 for taxes. Now it's $5,700, and you're going to raise it another $650. And it takes most of my income to pay. And I'm not the only one. There's other people that are selling their crops and have high costs too. And so I'm against this pay raise for everybody. You need to try and find some cuts. And if people need to be fired, maybe we need to do that. We can't keep spending money in this country like drunken sailors. And I know you'd like to have nice offices and such, but I will admit I am all for maintaining the old building, because if nothing else, it is a beautiful landmark that adds to the county. But, new buildings for this, new buildings for that, it's money when the country is strapped. I know the price of eggs has come down, but everybody doesn't live on eggs. Hopefully the price of gas will stay down, but people are strapped for money. I'm not the only one, pinching pennies, living on top ramen. So, you guys take your salary increase every time it's recommended. You don't have to, supervisors.
We did not take ours.
A couple of
Well,
years.
thank you. I appreciate that you're trying to cut someplace, but anyway, so my comment is, I know Enos told me you're cut to the bone, but you need to find some more cuts. This is ridiculous.
Of a recommendation, which services would you like to see get trimmed on? Is there any that stick out in your mind?
You can quit grading my road, which is the grader is making it nothing but a washboard. He's not doing it right. He's not setting the blade correctly. There's one, a little less gravel.
Has to do somewhat with moisture too.
Yes, and
Mine
that's
is the
been a
same.
problem because it's been too dry. I understand that.
I must have good guys. Mine are pretty good over there.
So I have comment on that. We're so blessed in Worth County, the rock that we have, the productive quarries that we have. You go to any county outside of ours and see what their rock costs are. You'd be amazed.
That
You would be amazed.
That's true, but we're also blessed with all of that turbine money coming in and casino, which is not near as much as the turbine money. And yet still we're spending proportionately way more than any of the other counties on everything. I know it's a small county, and as a result, we have to keep the same structure as a big county, like you said, the courthouses. But, it's just, you need to try and go through those budgets and cut. I'm just asking you. Try and go through. Don't just rubber stamp every budget that comes in from every department. It's not unreasonable to ask you to do some more work.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, thank you for listening to me. I told you, Enos, I was going to yell at you, and I did.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
You
I
too.
better save my money.
There you go. Me too. All right.
I'd like to make a comment on gravel roads. I hadn't thought of that prior, but I know a little about county roads. Have we even any more thought about eliminating some of our dead roads?
Put them on like Schedule B or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd say yes and no. I mean, that'd be up to Rich to see which ones you could ban, and you do have some issues with that when you get 911 services. You gotta be careful doing that.
Maybe they could be.
I know.
I think we've changed the ones that
How
we
does
could
that work
change
now
into.
with, there's level B roads that don't get plowed in the winter time as it is right now. So how does that affect 911? Do they know which roads aren't plowed?
It should be communicated. I mean,
They know level B, they know the level.
They
know the level.
Maintained.
Well, that's not all of them ain't plowed though. There's still level B roads that are plowed.
Right.
yes,
The school bus and the.
That's well, portion that's
I
probably.
think it does depend on the winter. We were pretty fortunate this winter. It was basically open. If it was a real bad winter, I think if that road's gonna get ahead of them, they're eventually gonna abandon it for the rest of the winter. They can't get through it, but
Well, I know all by me, as soon as they put the wind turbines in, there's several more miles of level B roads that gotta be plowed because of them turbines. That weren't plowed before they were there.
Cause they could access to them.
Yeah, if there's a 911 number, you gotta have access
you
to it.
gotta have access to it.
Well, that's not 100%, cause I know there's a road by me that's a fairly well-traveled level B road that all of a sudden we quit plowing in the last 3 years. And that has 911 signs on it for windmill roads and nobody plowed.
So never heard that one.
Yeah,
Haven't either.
Yeah, we could review that.
But I mean, it has access from the mile on either side of it gets
Yeah.
plowed. But I guess I don't know what the stipulations on the 911 part of it is.
If there's 911 address, it should be plowed.
I'm pretty sure, I ain't gonna say that for sure, I guess, but I'm fairly certain there's 911 signs on the end of the roads.
Yeah, they have to.
question. Be a good question for Rich. I guess I'm not sure which ones are and aren't.
Yeah,
Good have maps, whether they run.
I just took for granted they were all plowed if they had 911 numbers. That Rich
Well,
took
I
care
got
of
some
that.
of my snow road now that I don't plow. They have windmill roads on them. And they've never been put back on my snow road that they need to be plowed, so I don't plow them. The windmill company has never said anything about it. But there's at least probably 2.5 or 3 miles of road there that if they need to be plowed because of the turbines, that add more cost, because they're gonna have to be plowed.
Right. Right. Guess we'll have to figure that one out or find that one out. We'll work with Rich on that one.
I just don't plow them. I'm like,
Right.
if they're not on my map to be plowed, I don't plow them. Nobody's
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
said nothing, so.
Go with
leave it
Stone,
alone.
right? That's understandable.
That'd be a good question for Rich, see what they do or don't do.
Mhm. What determines it?
Yeah, is there access to the turbines from another direction or? Some
Yeah,
of,
they go straight through.
some of those
So
roads
the
go
miles, either mile on either side, they have access to them.
so the one side must not be a level B road, so then they. That'd be the
Supposedly,
only-
but I mean, if you say there's 911 signs there, they should be plowed, but. Guess it is what it is, so.
Yeah. Well, it's generally the rule of thumb, but yeah,
Well, some of that, it never trickles down to where when the maps get made, they usually get made how they were the year before, and it's kind of status quo when you go by what it was the year before, I guess, so, but some of this has changed within the last 2 to 3 years. But like me, it's my discretion. I know which roads need to be plowed. I know where the traffic is at, so there's roads that aren't necessarily on the map to be plowed to get plowed, and there's other ones you don't have to plow, so.
Sure. Every time you look the whole system over as far as that goes.
I don't think in the grand scheme of things, it's gonna save a lot of money regardless, but I guess it is what it is.
Right.
anybody else on Zoom?
Are we gonna have to deal with, I mean, we're gonna deal with the same 1.5% increase year after year then?
No,
We think, or is,
no. That's just what it's gonna cap at. Because then you cannot go above that. Because if you do go above that, you have to drop your levy. So if it stays right in there, as long as we can outweigh.
well,
dollars.
building maintenance ain't gonna get no cheaper, the
No.
cost of employees ain't gonna get any cheaper.
Neither is health insurance.
Or property and liability.
I didn't think you could go above that. They said in Des Moines that 2% is the max growth.
Yeah.
You can't go above it.
So is that gonna stop at the assessed values, or is it gonna change our levies?
You're gonna stop at the assessed values.
Okay.
Cause as the assessed values go up, your levies are going down to match up. So
Match the total of 2%.
that's right. You
Yeah.
can't go over 2%.
You could have 5% valuation growth. And you'd have to lower your levies accordingly, so you only come up with 2% growth in your budget.
So that's how they're trying to get, if the valuations raise up, they're trying to make your levy come down, so technically you're not supposed to see an increase then, is that what they're trying to get at?
Well, you could see up to
Up
2%.
Up to 2%.
So we could see up to 2% increase in taxes every year then, is what you're saying?
There's the possibility, yeah. But like saying, it's all numbers that are given to us by the state.
Which you could make, you could make some major cuts, but that's gonna be a 1-year deal, and after that, you're gonna. Probably
You
eat
only
that.
make so many cuts, cause I mean, people in this county, they expect services from their county, and you can only make so many cuts,
That's all we provide as services.
you know?
We don't always get money back from the state for a lot of the services we provide.
But yes,
Elections,
Elections.
The recorders rates coming in, haven't changed in what, Teresa, 40 years?
40 years.
They're begging.
They're
to get
working on it
changed.
now, but that don't mean it's gonna pass.
The treasurer's office just changed, we get an additional $10 per, and the cost is going to you.
Yeah.
As you go in there and get your license plates or whatever, we get an extra $10, that actually stays here. That hadn't been changed in over 40 years.
Be nice if the fees would coincide with what it actually costs to have that done, and it hasn't.
65 plus credit that was just exemption that was given, another example.
There's numerous things, mandates that they like to throw in there that we have to provide. but they don't always provide the funding for it. And a lot of organizations are trying to get those dollars changed so that they can offset the costs, because you can ask the other elected officials how and their budgets, they're pretty slim. They're pretty slim, and it's services we have to provide because the state says so.
For a less number of people in this county, you have to, no matter how many people are in the county, you have to provide the same services.
So that service costs the same pretty much for a small county as a large county.
I bet this county ain't growing very fast, would be my assumption.
So it's been for years. I mean,
Pretty flat.
we had our pullback and we stayed right around here for, I don't know how many years we've been in this, around 7,500 people, many years.
Yeah, it isn't even that high.
73 sometimes, 73, whatever.
73.37 or something
Something
like
like
that.
that, but
Northwood's the only town that grew a little bit. Everything else just keeps going down and down as far as towns go.
It's every real community.
How about we take some of those little towns, make them the villages and eliminate that waste and cost? Is that everybody?
That's somebody else's call.
that's actually their
up to the
call.
towns.
Yeah.
They can unincorporate it, that's up to them.
You go to other states and it works so well. Villages, no city council, no mayor.
Yep, that'd be up to them to unincorporate or make those changes.
Yeah, but then they're gonna expect county services if they're gonna.
Well, they get them anyway.
They get them anyway.
They get them anyway. That wouldn't change.
They just pay a lesser percentage of them than you do.
Right. City does something. that
No, it's
comes
gonna be a
on-
hard sell to most of them.
Oh,
communities,
well, there-
this.
We need more people to move into the town.
I need more industry, need more people.
Or to keep more of the young people.
And you gotta have the industry and stuff like that to keep the young people, that's. the
You need
problem.
better paying
It's a vicious
jobs.
Circle.
We need housing.
Housing for the young people.
Oh, that will come.
If you have higher paying jobs, housing will probably come. Although, you know, to be our reality is a lot of them are gonna live in Mesa City or Clear Lake. We have a lot of people probably already that for the better paying jobs don't live here. They
Mhm.
go to Mesa City or, you know, they're not afraid to travel that 20 miles, 25 miles. So that's always a hard sell.
A lot of those people don't wanna live in a town either, they want the services of being in town, they wanna live in the country.
Yeah. In reality, I mean, our housing costs have kind of come up with everybody else's now in Worth County. We're pretty similar to housing in Saragordo County. There's not much difference in, you know, so they're gonna have a little more activity down there in some of the bigger counties. Makes it tough.
What about ambulance service and stuff like that, is that being included in some of this increase, or this is not in this?
That'll be a separate one.
That'll be a separate deal.
So we could probably be looking at that down the road then too, can't we?
Depends on
As of
where
right
you
now,
live.
you guys aren't, but that could be a possibility.
Well, we have to have the service, that's the problem, so.
That's a question I have asked our legislators that, you know, they're trying to lower property taxes. That's the governor's goal, right?
Yep.
22 counties right now, over the last 2 years, have declared EMS essential or started districts and are raising taxes because they need ambulance service. 22 out of 99, and there's more working on it as we speak.
Her property tax decrease isn't doing any good.
It's
They're
going
paying,
some-
it's paying the same amount of money.
You're
or more.
paying somebody else, Josh, just like you said earlier. You're no longer paying it here, you're gonna pay it there.
So let's talk about all these tax decreases or taxes going down. It ain't happening.
It's not as cracked up as.
Just goes from one spot to the next.
It does. And they've told us, you need to take these levies down. Well, how do we get this down from here? You take it from there. And then you back, you know, basically we backfill within, we take it here, then once this hits a certain point, we can add it back there.
Let's say when instead of 25%.
You know, it's a 25%
Cushion.
carryover. So we have operating money.
Just in case money.
So the problem isn't at the local level, the problem's at the state level.
It's higher up than us, trust me. If it's something we could push buttons and do,
They'll probably tell you the opposite, but
we probably would have done it.
And you gotta read between the lines a little bit from what they tell you, so.
Yeah.
Doesn't do any good. They don't listen down there either, so it ain't gonna do any good regardless.
Your bigger counties are controlling it. There's,
that's why the capital is in Polk County.
What's that?
That's why the capital's in Polk County.
Well, they don't have to have meetings like this because they have the people to, there's more people, more money.
More money, and they've always had the growth. I mean, they're the ones that get all the industry, all the higher paying jobs. I mean, the whole growth in the state of Iowa's right there, Polk County going both directions and a little bit north and a little bit south. That's fastest growing area in the United States of America is just between Ames and Des Moines and
Dallas
Between
County,
Des Moines and
Dallas
Sioux
County
City.
right now is,
Yep.
is winning. They're
So-
growing so fast, it's just like you see.
The towns are growing together down there.
Mhm.
I mean, we definitely look for all the places we can to cut. It's tough.
But yeah, it's the conversation of what service can you do without was the next step. What services, that's where we're going next. Is what are we gonna reduce? What services?
Suggestions.
Well, there's always places you can make, but you're always gonna,
Somebody's not
anger,
gonna-
somebody's gonna get mad.
Yeah.
Maybe fine for you and a handful of these people.
Well,
but
and
a
maybe you
handful
don't
over there.
realize,
Yeah.
looking in, you don't realize making a cut here, what that may affect. It could be 5 other things that might affect.
We already hear, why isn't my road plowed first? Well,
I got 50 miles of road to plow. There's one guy that's first and there's one guy that's last. And that's the way it's always gonna be.
that's what I tell people too, same thing.
And it doesn't help me when you call in and I got to deadhead 15 miles to plow your road because you need to get out. And then deadhead 15 miles back to where I started at or left off at.
Start over there.
That ain't saving anybody any time or money.
That's just dragging it out longer.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Only way that would happen if there was an emergency call, 911 needed to get to that place. to save
Well,
somebody.
That's a whole different deal.
That's a different deal.
Story there.
Yeah.
That's, necessity.
I don't,
But yeah, if you bounced all over,
Yeah.
it'd take longer.
I've done it before and I've got the call to do it before, so. That's, again, that goes back to these people, they move out to the country from the city and they expect the same services in the country as they had in the city. And they wonder why their driveway ain't plowed up to their front door. Well, I plow the road, I don't plow your driveway, I never have plowed the driveway. So. That costs taxpayers money in the long run also.
It does, oh yeah. It does.
I don't work for free, I get, I get paid by the hour. And then road graders don't run for free either.
And they don't last forever either.
We're making them last forever, some stuff we run, so.
Price of those have gone through the road, price of plow trucks, wow.
Yeah, it's not gonna get any cheaper.
no. No, definitely not. Any other comments from the public? Not, really appreciate you guys coming in and asking the questions and
Give you the information you're looking for, but still up in the air with the state, we don't know which way to go either. Mark, I'll motion to close the public hearing.
moving second, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, Lowberg, Stone,
Aye.
maybe, aye. The public hearing is now closed. Okay.
It's